And so not only did he defend gay marriage, but then he also said that trans is not a big problem.
Yeah, trans is a big problem. Well, I don't know about being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem. What I'm saying is, like, people have, like, much stronger feelings on the trans issues than they do about gay issues or something like that.
I like how he watched this video here, which is very a clear example of Asmongold being a fence sitter. And somehow this content creator plucked out of that the one small part where Asmongold says trans isn't really a big issue and is now going to have an absolute mental breakdown about it.
Unclear as to why they decided to try to be anti-woke. Maybe they wanted to ride some kind of wave.
Maybe they wanted to ride a gay cock. All right, silly gooses, let's get this party started. This is funny. Somebody put this in the Discord. It just looked silly. It's from a smaller guy, the Trent to report. Asmongold embraces woke ideology. It just looks funny, you know. We like to criticize Asmongold here because I think that there are areas where he's a bit of a centrist, but I think it'd be, I think he is kind of like a fence sitter. But you know what? We should look at I guess the opposite side. Be a little charitable to him. Look at the criticisms he gets, because, you know, like for instance, the thing we looked at the other day was Asmongold saying they should remove the T from LGBTQ because the T causes most of the problems. That's what he said. And it's like, there is the most controversy around that, but I think that's a conservative strategy. And separating the T from LGBT would be toxic because conservatives are also trying to get rid of gay marriage. You know what I mean? So I think it's a divide and conquer tactic. And I think Asmongold gives too much charity to it, especially since there's room to talk about trans issues. You know, I understand the bathroom conversation, not the other bit, like I guess bathroom / locker room conversation. I understand the sports conversation. I understand the, young people going on hormones. I understand those conversations. But like that's the majority, that conversation is dominated in the conservative atmosphere. And you know, that again mixed with the fact that all this gerrymandering is going on in the middle of a decade when it's supposed to be every 10 years, and the fact that Democrats have historically voted to end gerrymandering, to me it suggests that conservatives have no meaningful strategy or policy, and so they just hyper focus on trans and gay issues and, like, you know, other cultural issues that aren't as prevalent and don't need as much attention. Right. And so him giving charity to that and being like, well, they should remove the T from it, it's stupid. I think it just isolates trans people, especially since historically trans people, you know, when they couldn't identify as trans, they would just identify as fucking gay dudes in drag, or, you know, or butch lesbians, you know. So let's get it going though. This guy doesn't like Asmongold. Let's go.
Woke is dead. That is the mantra that we've heard on repeat since President Donald Trump was elected to his second term as president. However, as we see nearly every single day, that is just not true.
It's not true. We got to keep woke alive, baby. We got to have something to hate. We got to do the Eric Cartman South Park meme.
However, the latest example of this is popular streamer Asmongold coming out defending gay marriage and saying there's nothing wrong with transgenderism.
That's so silly that there's a defense of gay marriage, because I saw something recently that was Asmongold kind of, what was he doing? Was he a little bit fence sitting on gay marriage? But I guess overall was kind of defense. I think for the most part, it was something along the lines of, you know, since taxes are involved, you should be able to get gay married, which I obviously agree with. And then if you want to do some kind of a legal union that was the same as gay marriage, that would be fine too. It's like, okay. I mean, I think at this point you could just get gay married, but yeah, it's a hot take, I guess. You know, separation of church and state hot take. What?
Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description.
So he's basically, I believe he's going to read his own article. He's going to read his own article to us, so that's exciting.
Below. First off, let's get into his defense of...
Which, by the way, not a bad content strategy. Write articles. I don't know why you'd write the article, whatever, but write articles and then read them to your stream. I mean, I guess that's not a bad idea.
Gay marriage, which he made in a recent stream earlier this week. This is what he said. He says, I think that gay people should be able to get married. I don't think that churches should have to officiate gay marriages. So, like,
I mean, I could agree with that too. I don't think churches should have to officiate a gay marriage. I mean,
basically, if you're a mosque, a synagogue, a church,
although you do get a tax break, so since you are tax free, you're technically getting funded by the taxpayer. So there's an argument to be made. But no, I don't think in any religious institution you should have to officiate a gay marriage. That's fair. But marriage is not just a religious concept anymore. It's It's a government concept. That's so it's not if you have your taxes involved, separation of church and state.
Church, a effing, I don't know, a monastery or anything like that. Churches should in no way, shape, or form be given any sort of obligation to officiate or recognize gay marriage.
Which is fair, but also, like, when has anyone ever said that they should have to? Like, that's not, like, a part of the conversation. Nobody's having the conversation of, like, hey, let's force churches to officiate marriages. Nobody's talking about that. So to even bring that up, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the absolute perspective, I suppose, but
what does need to be acknowledged is the state, because marriage is a legal concept between two people.
True.
And fundamentally, I don't really see there being a problem. It's for tax reasons, right? Now,
sure.
if you wanted to do something where, because civil unions, you could say civil unions do not have the same rules as a marriage. If you wanted to make civil unions for all intents and purposes, and in every single circumstance with literally zero exceptions, they are just simply the gay version of marriage, I would be fine with that.
I wouldn't. That's like separate but equal and kind of stupid. What I would say is if you want to just change the title from a marriage to a civil union across the board on paper, and then you want to just call it a marriage if it's legal, if it's religious, that's fine. But like, no, I don't agree with like separation. That's stupid. That's like a divide and conquer tactic. Like right now, like, oh, we have marriage and we have civil union. Okay, that's cool. And they're the same until the Republicans try to legislate civil unions as worse, right? So it's either all of it's called a marriage, regardless of whether it's gay or not, or all of it's called a civil union, whether it's gay or not, and then you can call it a marriage if you're religious and you want to call it a marriage. Like if you want to set that boundary of like, oh, you can't call it a marriage, whatever, unless it's done in the church or whatever. I don't care. Civil union for everybody, you know what I mean? That's fine, but it should all be the same across the board from a legal and like from a government perspective.
Right now, as it stands, they're not the same, especially with certain types of end of rights, end of life rights, and end of life privileges. Civil unions do not fully cover that in a way that marriage does, and it's also true in certain types of inheritances, etc. It should just be recognized by the government. So he's clearly advocating for gay marriage. Like he is literally saying, I think that gay people should be able to get married. First off,
what a hot take, huh? Hey, hot take, gays get married?
Marriage is not a legal concept between two people, so he doesn't.
Well, yes it is. What? What do you mean? Yes it is.
Doesn't even know what marriage is, and he's clearly trying to redefine something that has existed for time immemorial.
Wow, it's existed for a long time, guys. Crazy stuff. Yeah, well, marriage is quite literally a legal concept, though. What are you talking about? If you guys wanted tax cuts for getting married, so you decided to make it a legal concept and separation of church and state. Sorry, buddy.
Rather, marriage is a covenant by which a man and a woman establish between themselves a partnership of the whole of life.
Wow, that's crazy.
Is by its nature ordered toward the good of the spouses and the procreation and education of offspring.
You know what's so funny? We were watching Dan McClellan the other day, and they were talking about how Jesus had at one point, you know, because the Bible's so super consistent. But Jesus had at one point talked about how the ultimate fucking pro gamer move was to not fuck at all. It was to be celibate. But if you can't be celibate, that what you should do instead is get married to one person. Just fuck that one person, right? So, you know, I don't know if it's really just about procreation. I mean, frankly, I think that marriage was a concept that was invented to try to stop men from being gooners. And maybe also molesters, if I'm trying to be fucking real with you, dog. Because I feel like I'm a very masculine, virile, I'm a horny motherfucker. And so, like, if marriage didn't exist, I would be fucking I'd be just painting everything in my cum. Consensually, of course. But I would just be fucking shit out, and that's what I was doing for a long time. I was in open relationship, and I would just come all the time. And I'll tell you, I met my wife, and we slowly reduced my coming productively. You know, we've pretty much got my sex/porn addiction under control. And ever since I met her, my income has tripled. I've been happier, more balanced, less angry. I'm almost a guy I think is okay. I think is good. I'm almost proud of myself. I think I was a pathetic man back in the day who had no control over his shit, and I don't think I was never negatively meaning, but I truly think that marriage was created because men can't control themselves, and frankly, I think that the introduction to a good woman is probably central to being a good man. I think men have the ability to lead the world and do amazing things. I'm not saying that women don't, but I think masculinity has the ability to lead the world. Men and women can both be masculine, but I think men tend to be masculine. And I think femininity has the ability to help guide that masculinity. I think it's a beautiful thing. So that's why I think where marriage comes from. I think we kind of, I love the concept of God. I like to believe there's God, but I think that we created religions based on the needs of society, and men do be needing to stop coming everywhere. Hashtag come productively. Yeah, for sure, brother. I respect that. We got to get our cum under control. Come on, dude.
This covenant between baptized persons has been raised by Christ the Lord to the dignity of a sacrament. So clearly, there is no such thing as the so-called gay marriage.
The so-called gay marriage.
Because marriage requires a man and a woman.
Oh, shit, dude.
It also obviously requires the procreation and education of offspring.
That's crazy.
As Catholic apologists...
so if I'm infertile, I can't get married is what you're telling me? Just not allowed to I just can't get married if I'm not going to make... if I'm shooting blanks, I can't get married? Is that what you're telling me? Or do we get divorced after we're done coming? Hey, I came in my wife, and 40 years later, my babies are all grown up and they're successful. Guess I got to get divorced. Bye. You probably, back in the day, you were dying before then anyway, so.
Just Jimmy Akin noted back in 2013 to claim that a man can marry another man or a woman another woman is just playing games with words.
Whoa.
As would be claiming that a man can marry an animal or a vegetable or an inanimate object. And that's
incredible. I didn't realize that gay people were vegetables. I thought they were fruits. So that's on me for not knowing that. My bad, dog. I was not aware of that, brothers. Was not aware of that.
The lie that Asmongold has clearly bought into and is now peddling.
It's crazy. Well, just to be clear, this is the reality we're living in, so it's not really a lie. You're just on a cope.
Furthermore, in 2004, Jimmy Akin pointed out that given the fact that
Is that so funny that IVF is saving many marriages? But that's the funny part, is that IVF is considered a sin by religious freaks like this, because what you do is you take a bunch of eggs and then you put some fucking cum on them and you fertilize them and you say, oh, these are the good ones, throw away the bad ones, right? Because, some of them got fucking weird shit in there. They got some weird, qualities in there, like being a Redditor, like this guy. So you obviously want to kill that egg before the Redditor is born. Gotta abort that Redditor, dude. It's the Redditor gene. It's fucking crazy. No, but you find the most viable ones, and then you kind of toss out the non-viable ones or less viable ones. So, like, even IVF, even though logically speaking, you would need IVF as an infertile couple, because, marriage is about procreation. So if you can't procreate, you can't get married. They're still against it because you're throwing away little beings that are apparently people. So that's incredible. It's incredible stuff.
Marriage is a reality of human nature. We cannot change it.
But if you really think about it, I think that when you're here's my thing. I would say that when this is an argument here. When you're pregnant, you have to understand something. From a conservative perspective, and it's so understandable. When you're pregnant, that creature inside of you, that baby, it's not a baby. It's more than a baby. Because it has more rights than born children. You know what I mean? Like, conservatives want to make sure you can't get an abortion and you got to healthily get that baby delivered. But once that baby pops out, goodbye to your health care. We don't give a fuck about any foster homes. If you live in another country and you're born with AIDS, time to die, bitch. We're going to take away all of our support structures and all the money that we're trying to help other people around the world with, our aid. Fuck all that. You're effectively literally garbage. The point, when you're in the womb, you're literally protected. You have a fucking, we have to invent technology to put an iron dome around the fucking bean-sized fetus. But once you're out of the womb, you are now an economic unit, and you exist to either die or succeed, so you could become fantastic labor for capitalist machines. Okay, that's the conservative perspective on babies. So really, the fetus is more a protected class than a person at all. The only thing that's more protected from a conservative perspective than the fetus is a billionaire. Because, we have to give them tax cuts, of course. And if you want to get an abortion as a billionaire, that's okay. Because we won't know about it. Because, they have so much money. And also, if you want to molest children, that's okay. You can do that as long as you're an elite class. And if you're the best friend of a incredible, profoundly prolific child molester and rapist, like Jeffrey Epstein, if you give their best friend, you could become president. And then we'll just complain about him forever, and then we just won't release any of the information once we get into a spot that we can. So it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Why no social security number for a fetus? Because fetuses are better than us. I don't understand what you're not understanding about my logic. I don't know what you're not getting about my logic here, guys. Come on.
We don't have the ability to alter human nature.
Whoa.
That
Me when we don't alter human nature? Marriage is an alteration of human nature. What are you talking about? Religion is literally juxtaposes human nature, which, by the way, I think is a good thing. I don't think that letting men engage or people engaging in their base desires is a good thing. If I engaged in human nature, I would just eat and fuck and shit all over myself. What are you talking about?
appears to be what Asmongold is attempting to do. He's attempting
human nature.
Alter.
Guys, no human nature. No human. We can't do human nature. By the way, I'm about to get into my Ford F-150 and I'm about to drive across the country 3 miles to the fucking gallon. Well, that's not against human nature. Fuck you. Nature? What are you talking about? You don't care about nature.
Human nature by advocating for gay marriage. He is literally advocating.
Dude, there's no such thing as gay animals. By the way, that's because it's not in human nature. There's no nature. Gay. You've never seen two goats doing it. My dogs that were two boys never used to hump the fuck out of each other, guys. Gay doesn't exist unless I close my eyes because I can't stop thinking of cock. So I keep my eyes wide open for the Lord.
Advocating for wokeness. And for anyone who doesn't know what wokeness is, I think Dr. Edward Fieser or people who are going to say, define wokeness in the comments. I'm sure Dr. Edward Fieser has a really good definition of it. He says wokeness is a paranoid, delusional, hyper-egalitarian mindset.
I agree. You do have all those things.
That tends to see oppression and injustice where they do not exist greatly to exaggerate them where they do exist. And
that's so interesting because I actually think that's a beautiful thing. Wokeness is a paranoid delusion that tends to see oppression and injustice where they do not exist. That's a beautiful thing. It's so interesting because I was scrolling through this guy's Twitter, and let's just watch this for a moment.
Hello, everybody. It's Bishop Bear, and I'm coming to you
because he reposted this
evening because of a really ridiculous judgment that was made by a judge in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, again, targeting incredibly the Little Sisters of the Poor.
They're attacking religious institutions, by the way.
Back to 2010 when Obamacare came into being. And what's at issue is the Little Sisters, Catholic order, of course, being compelled to provide in their insurance coverage for contraceptives and abortifacients.
My God. This is what we're talking about, guys. Religious institutions getting money from the taxpayer that was founded, by the way, America was founded on separation of church and state. And they're being forced to provide contraceptive? Like, what the fuck? Victim complex. This is woke. You're being woke. Okay? You're seeing oppression and injustice where it does not exist. So as you sit here and you cry, and you've reposted this, as you cry and you bitch and you whinge about how wokeness is dying, and Asmongold, my favorite streamer, said gays can get a marriage. You are the fucking woke that you cry about like a little bitch. So knock it off, victim. Yeah, I did hear about obviously doing the census bid to get more House seats, 100%. I already talked about this in the beginning of the segment, actually. him militarizing DC, if it was such a big issue, why did he wait 8 months to do it? Like, this is the thing, like, sending a bunch of military people to DC because this is, like, super important. It's really fucked up around here. Why did we wait 8 months? Why was it an 8 month thing? Oh, it's because it wasn't an issue. It's another thing. It's just another controversy of Trump's. It's boring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's a good thing for me, but I just don't care anymore about all this dumb shit he's doing. He's being fucking stupid. And I think that the idea is to get you to be outraged. And you should be, like, outraged, but be productive in it. So for me, I don't know if I'm just like, okay, I don't care. You know, he wants you to freak out so people can go like, see, look, we're owning the libs. Hey, guys, we got to help the poor. That's why I have $1,000 cross on. What? The poor? What the fuck?
Not exist, or greatly to exaggerate them where they do exist. And he actually kind of goes on.
Really? So crazy, brother.
And says here, by characterizing wokeness as paranoid and delusional, I'm not fleeing in terms of abuse, but describing the real psychological features of the woke attitude. In their book, The Coddling of the American Mind, which I say a bit about in my own book, Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt note that the frame of mind encouraged by woke ideas, critical race theory, gender theory, social justice warrior rhetoric, and the like is very similar to a mindset that cognitive behavioral therapy identifies as a major cause of psychological disorders.
Wait, what? Like, all these different theories is very similar to the mindset that cognitive behavioral therapy identifies as a major cause. Wait, you're saying cognitive behavioral therapy is a major cause of psychological disorders? So cognitive behavioral therapy is usually just like engaging in behavioral changes, right? So the type of psychotherapy in which negative patterns of thought about the self and the world are challenged in order to alter unwanted patterns of behavior or treat mood disorders such as depression. So usually that's basically like non-medication. I think that's a great idea to do CBT. It's really just about trying to have like a better mindset. So maybe, am I misreading this? That like, okay, so social justice warrior rhetoric. Okay, hold on. This is so weird. Note that the frame of mind encouraged by woke ideas is very similar to a mindset that cognitive behavioral therapy identifies as a major cause of psychological disorders. I'm so confused. What does that mean? That CBT, which is meant for you to have a better mindset, how does that identify as major psychological disorders? It doesn't even make sense to me, because you wouldn't usually engage in CBT unless you have a psychological disorder. What?
And if you're literally trying to change something that is
crazy.
Part of nature, you are clearly being delusional. And
yeah, so why the fuck are you using a computer, idiot? Like, that's what I'm talking about. You guys are dumb. Oh, it's part of nature. Look at you, dude. You have a fucking YouTube channel. What is natural about taking sand from the desert and making a fucking computer chips out of them and then broadcasting yourself across the fucking world, dude? What are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense. You use the word nature like I use the word gooning. It doesn't make any sense. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You just talk. You just say words. You're just like nature, natural. It's natural. It's nature. It's nature. What's natural? Nature. It's nature. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What the fuck is natural about anything that we do in our existence? You got a fucking hat that was made in China with sweat labor. This is natural? The fuck is this shit, dude? What do you talk about nature for? Like, why are we talking about nature and being natural? Okay? What are you talking about? You got fucking AI generated images of some fucking, I don't know, Stephen Colbert as a goddamn fucking priest. You're going on about nature. This is natural. Guys, this is so natural. Woke ideology? That's natural. Dude, it just never makes sense. What is nature to you? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Okay? Do you take medications? Do you take a Tylenol when when your back hurts? Do you take a fucking metformin when you got fucking diabetes? Okay, what do you take? Do you take Do you take pain medication when you feel bad? I mean, like, this is all against nature. Nature. Shut the fuck up about nature. You sound stupid. You guys will engage in every unnatural fucking thing in the entire world. Okay, you'll eat fucking processed foods. You'll live in a goddamn fucking house with a computer and a bunch of air conditioning. You'll drive in a goddamn fucking car. Drive a plane? I don't even know how airplanes work. That's crazy. You guys will take medications to stop all your fucking ailments and increase your life expectancy to fucking 90 years old. But God forbid, two gay dudes want to fucking suck each other's dicks when you can't see it. And all of a sudden, that's the only thing that you can think about. That's all you can think about. Nature, nature, nature. All you can think about is two gay guys sucking dick on the privacy of their own home. That sounds like you have an obsession with cock, okay? That's just what it sounds like. It seems very strange. It seems a little obsessive to me. I don't really understand that, personally.
And that is exactly what Asmongold is buying into right now. He is living in a delusion, thinking that he can redefine.
Never seen a Big Mac tree. Beautiful. I love that, Liam. Thank you. That's a beautiful statement.
Is. Given Asmongold's comments, he's bought into the lie that marriage can be changed when it cannot. It can predicted this.
We literally did change it, but it can't be changed.
2004, describing what Asmongold is now advocating for as a legal fiction.
Legal fiction.
Aiken said this. That is to say, we could create laws requiring those in society to treat those in homosexual unions as if they were married. People could be required to refer to homosexual unions as marriages, to refer to people in such unions as spouses, to alter forms so that people in such unions can present themselves as such, and to give them the status of married people regarding adoption, housing, taxes, insurance, divorce, and inheritance. But while the law could be rewritten to coerce society into treating people in homosexual unions as if they were married, this would not give them the reality of marriage. It would not change the nature of their union to correspond to what marriage actually is.
I don't care. You guys are losing the culture war.
Second,
or maybe they're starting to win. There's conversation about overturning gay marriage protection. So,
providing a state endorsement as well as benefits and subsidies, to these disordered and sinful relationships would encourage more of such activity and lead others down the path of destruction.
So this is probably one of the biggest self-reports I ever see when it comes to gay people getting married, or any type of conversation about gay people from conservatives, is this idea of like, if we allow this type of behavior, we'll see more of the behavior. Because what you're telling me is that you're fucking gay. You're fucking gay, and all you can think about is stroking cock into your fucking puckered asshole. And if it was legal to do it, then you would do it. Because you're fucking gay and you need to legislate in a way that makes it so you're not allowed to be gay, so that you feel like you can't do it. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you're extraordinarily gay. That's it. That's all I'm hearing, dude. You're gay. It's a huge self-report when you say gay shit like that. That's gay as fuck. That's a self-report, dog.
It also brings about other forms of destruction, such as depriving children of their right to both a mother and a father.
Oh, my goodness.
And the proliferation of purchasing your fellow man through surrogacy. We have seen all of these things.
What about the gay people who adopt and those people didn't have parents at all? Do you think it'd be better to have two gay parents over no parents at all, or what do we think?
And to play out since
chat, what do we think? They would obviously, they don't actually care. I forgot they don't care about children. I forgot that conservatives are the ones that are trying to cut medical care to children. They don't care about kids. You guys don't care about kids. I don't know why you pretend to care about kids. This guy doesn't care about kids. This guy's fucking crazy. Okay, I know conservatives care about kids, or they pretend to while they vote against the rights of kids. But this guy doesn't care about kids. You don't care about kids. Kids are a fucking weapon for you guys to use whenever it's convenient. Hey, what if we gave kids like access to health care and research for cancer treatment? No, I think we got to cut that. We need billionaire tax cuts. Hey guys, we got to get rid of gay marriage because could you imagine two dudes raising a baby? That could be so bad for the kids. You don't care about kids. It seems like the only time you think about kids is when you're praising Donald Trump for being best friends with a pedophile for 15 fucking years before deciding not to work with him anymore. So, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You care about kids. You guys care about beans in the belly that are before you care about goddamn kids. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop virtue signaling about you care about kids. Stop it. Stop pretending that you care about kids. What are you talking about?
Since the Supreme Court had
you guys just like the idea of kids, like Jeffrey Epstein.
Their Obergefell ruling back in 2015, and there's obviously been high-profile abuse cases where these individuals are literally purchasing other people and then abusing them. It's just,
we've never heard of that before. For the straight couples, never done that before. We've never seen even a time in history when straight people were purchasing people and like using them for labor or some kind of abuse. It's like never happened ever in society. Never a thing. Never been a thing. Only gay people. It's only been the gays, guys. What are you fucking talking about? You sound stupid. You're trying to tell me that you don't think straight people have been abusive to their children or other people's children or anything? Wow, that's crazy.
It's just sick. It's just absolutely sick.
It's sick.
Additionally, there are a plethora of examples of the state persecuting those who are opposed to this degeneracy, including florists, bakers, photographers, and even town clerks. There are obviously number of examples of those. Not to mention,
it's called being woke. You guys are finding a problem, and you guys are finding a victim complex where it doesn't exist.
The resurgence in diseases such.
Yeah, I'm glad that priests have never molested children and they get shuffled around the country, and nothing ever happens to them. I'm so happy about that.
As syphilis and increases in suicide and mental health problems.
Oh my God, dude. Oh no. There's a resurgence in disease such as syphilis. That's fucking terrible. It's definitely the gays. It's not because everybody was home fucking each other during COVID. It's definitely gay people. Syphilis is on the up, guys. Maybe it's because you guys keep cutting research for things. Okay, increase in suicide and mental health problems. There might be. I don't think it has anything to do with gay people. I think it has everything to do with social media. Social media, it just fucks your brain. It gets you addicted to other stuff. You're addicted to social media, and then you see people doing better than you, and then it makes you sad. I mean, it sounds very basic, but like that's realistically what it is. You're sitting there doom scrolling instead of being productive all day. So,
with the people that engage in these disordered lifestyles. And so not only did he defend gay marriage, but then he also said that trans is not a big problem.
Okay, it's not.
He said it's not a big problem. Let's listen to what he had to say right now.
Wow, maybe this video will actually change my mind on Asmongold. What the hell? Maybe I was wrong all along.
Here.
The LGB is mostly fine. You're right. Trans is the main issue that people have a problem with. That is the main issue. It's not gay. It's certainly not.
It is gay. Quite literally. We just watched this clip. Over here, it's talking about how the U.S. Supreme Court is asked to overturn landmark same-sex marriage. So they do have a problem with gay, just to be clear. So this is like a pretend fantasy perspective, but okay.
Not lesbians. It's
that part's true.
Trans. That's where all of the hostility, all of the negativity comes from. Yes, it
comes from people hating trans people.
Trans should not be involved with LGBT.
That's stupid. That's a divide and conquer tactic. And again, it's dumb because historically trans and gay people are very similar. They're very close to each other. Like Stonewall. Black trans women, right? But those people identified as like drag because they couldn't be trans at that time, you know?
There should not be an LGBT. LGBT. It should just be LGB.
Wow.
Trans is how you see yourself. Bisexual, being gay, being a lesbian is how you see other people. Being trans is not a sexuality.
Okay.
All three of the other ones are sexualities.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that.
It's that simple. Yeah, trans is a big problem. Well, I don't know about being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem. What I'm saying is like the trans issues they're much more divisive and they're much more like people have like much stronger feelings on the trans issues than they do about gay issues or something like that. Obviously, there's some people that don't like any of it, but in a general sense, I think that's what's going on. Are we really backtracking in history? Yeah, clearly.
I like how he watched this video here, which is very a clear example of Asmongold being a fence sitter and really weak when it comes to the trans conversation and not acknowledging the obsession that conservatives have with trans people. And somehow this content creator plucked out of that the one small part where Asmongold says trans isn't really a big issue and is now going to have an absolute fucking mental breakdown about it. That's incredible.
That's what's happening.
So there you go.
So there you go.
Hear him say he's reading a comment where someone says trans is a big problem, and he rejects that, saying, "I don't know about it being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem."
That's great. It's so laughable, guys. You can't even we don't even have to even engage with it. It's just so laughable. Let's just keep chuckling.
And this guy thinks that people thinking that they can change their sex is not a big problem. He's clearly
nobody thinks they could change their sex. They think they can change their gender, which they can.
Living in a delusion.
That's so true. So I want to be absolutely clear here. And I said this 1,000 times, and I will say it 1,000 more times before I die. You cannot call trans people delusional if you believe that there is a God in heaven who forced a baby into a woman without having sex with her, forced her to raise that baby with another man, cucked, by the way, Joseph, for 30 years, only to have him die on a cross so he could absolve us of our sins eternally as long as we go to church and confess to a priest who's not allowed to get married because they are married to God, I guess, And also, we have to eat a cracker and drink a wine that represents the body and the blood of Jesus Christ as we all get on our knees and pray and say 17 Hail Marys every time we do a sin, because clearly somebody with obsessive compulsive disorder was a priest once 500 years ago. You can't call trans people delusional when you exist inside of a religion that is fucking crazy from anyone on the outside. And I was raised to be Roman Catholic, and so I don't find it to be crazy from an emotional sense, because I think it's very beautiful. I felt very profound positive power associated with religion and a higher belief, and I respect it. But from a logical perspective, organized religion is 10,000 times crazier than some person that feels like they were born in the wrong body. You're eating the representation. You are cannibalizing, metaphorically cannibalizing your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Drinking his metaphorical blood and eating his metaphorical physical form, his body. And you're saying that a trans person who feels like they were born in the wrong body is crazy. That's fucking levels of delusion that I don't even know how to fucking deal with or interact with. That is insane. You don't get to do that. Either you believe in a spiritual world, in an existence of some kind of spiritual nature that we can't necessarily explain, or you don't. You don't get to play fucking cognitive dissonance when it comes to religion and trans people. You just don't get to do it. You just don't get to do it. Okay? It's insane. You sound stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. It sounds fucking delusional.
He is advocating for woke ideology at this point. I think it's safe to say that we can now describe Asmongold as woke because he's literally advocating wokeness. As far as this idea that he posits,
the 1 second in that clip that would be considered woke is incredible.
To the beginning of that video,
well, I guess the whole thing would be considered woke to this guy because it's a light advocation for gay people. But,
where he claims that the T...
But really, it is just blaming trans people for the lack of progress in LGBTQ. Because that's what it's saying. He's such a fence sitter that he's willing to do something like that.
Needs to be separated from LGB. This is literally a narrative that Dr. Edward Fieser predicted.
Dr. Edward Fieser, this guy, crazy smart.
Back in January, he said this, the LGB without the T shtick is going to become standard in the new conservatism evolving before our eyes.
It's a separation tactic. It's a divide and conquer tactic.
Delusion. The T is a consequence of the same premises that led to the LGB. They stand or fall together. And then he has an extraordinarily lengthy essay where he goes over all of this and actually addresses.
What a beautiful book. Thank you. I'm definitely going to buy that book from blogspot.com/Edward Fieser's balls.
Is a number of LGB people who are trying to separate the T from them and shows how they can't do it and how they are indeed connected because they all kind of stem from the same root. So I'm not going to get into all
What's the root? Is he going to claim it's Satan or something?
This right now, but if you want to, I will include the link to this in the description below. And I've obviously cited this essay a number of times in my articles over on
Hey, essay. What are you, Hispanic?
Come Pulse,
on, knock it off.
This is just the world we live in now. People that claim to be opposed to wokeness in video games are literally advocating for it in public policy.
It's crazy. This guy's got a whole ass chocobo doll right over here. Like, what is this? Woke? Is this woke, dude? What the fuck? Why is this woke? Why are chocobos woke? Well, they belong in the Final Fantasy games. What about the Final Fantasy games? Oh, all the male protagonists, specifically the main characters, look like femboys. Papa God, what are you talking about? Look at any Final Fantasy main character boy. They look like femboys. That's the whole point. They were specifically designed as men because back then, men were obviously, and still are really, but dominating when it comes to buying video games. And so... But they still wanted the female audience to feel comfortable and be able to project themselves onto their characters, so they made them very feminine characters. Is this woke? Are we engaging in wokeness? We're creating characters in video games that look like girls, so that girls feel included. That's fucking woke. This is woke. Oh, really? Final Fantasy VII is not woke? Oh, explain this. Explain this. Why is this one of the most domineering scenes inside of Final Fantasy VII? You go to Don Corneo, whatever the fuck his name is, and you dress up like a girl so that you can manipulate him and have sex with his penis. At least that's the fan fiction I read. What do you think of this? What's happening here? This is so interesting. Inside of a video game. This is woke. This is wokeness. What do you think they're doing here? Why did they make him look so attractive? Why did they make Cloud look like such a sexy femboy? It's to psyop you into wanting to have sex with boys that claim to be girls. They call themselves femboys. They say they're boys, but they act like girls. More girls, really, than actual girls. I've never heard a femboy fart. I've never seen a femboy in jeans. I've only really seen femboys with cat ears on. Their hair done very nicely in short skirts. Makeup on with perfume. They smell good. They smell better than most women. They don't go to work. They eat estrogen foods, estrogen-promoting foods every single day. That's all they do. They do the best that they can to be as feminine as possible. Philosophically, there's a conversation to have about them being more girls than girls. So interesting. Why is this in a video game? It's to psyop me into being gay. This is what conservatives sound like, by the way, when you guys talk. When you guys talk about how gay shit existing makes people turn gay. This is what you sound like. You sound gay. Just to be absolutely clear. Just to be clear, brothers.
So I think it's safe to say that it was all a ruse. It was all fake. Ruse. These people have all no fake. Principles.
None.
And
not a single principle.
Unclear as to why they decided to try to be anti-woke. Maybe they wanted to ride some kind of wave.
Maybe they wanted to ride a gay cock. That's fucking gay.
But now that everyone has declared that woke is dead, we're seeing numerous people come out and indicate that they are totally fine with woke ideology. And I would not be surprised if we start seeing Asmongold advocating for this stuff in video games, which he has clearly said in the past.
He already is. He already is advocating for it right here, dude. He's advocating for gay wokeness with the chocobo, bro. You don't get it. You don't see it. I've got the mind's eye. I've got the mind's eye. I understand what's happening here.
That he hasn't been. So it's just really sad.
I can't get it out of my brain.
The world that we live in, that these people claim something for, I don't know, 6 months, a year or so.
Yeah.
Get really big and popular for opposing it, and then they just immediately try to shift the narrative to get people to buy into this stuff. And that's why we
what is so interesting about this moment here, and I need you guys to like truly understand what's happening here. There's never been a moment where Asmongold has been opposed to gay marriage. He's always been on board with gay marriage, and yet this guy shut the fuck up. And yet this guy thinks Asmongold used to be very opposed to gay marriage, got really popular, and decided to swap to being progressive. And what does that tell us? One, it tells us that this guy's a fucking idiot. But the second thing it tells us is that the way that Asmongold packages his messages is in a way where he doesn't talk about, he doesn't make sure to make things clear when he's talking about certain subjects. That's what I get out of it, that this guy thinks he doesn't like gay people because Asmongold doesn't really talk in a way that's particularly positive about gay people consistently. Or maybe he just never really watches Asmongold. I might just be stupid. He is widowy, so woke.
Vigilant. That's why we have to keep fighting this stuff. And we have to be really careful about who we listen to, who we trust. And we really have to ground ourselves.
We just have to trust Dr. Dingle, Edward Pfizer. Make sure you only trust Dr. Edward Pfizer. Only good guy we got left.
In Jesus Christ, and he shows us what is the truth, rather than putting kind of faith and trust.
Jesus Christ, he shows us what the truth is. You know what the truth is? Well, he's got long hair, he wears a dress, and his best friends are prostitutes. What does that sound like? Who does that also sound like? Let's think. Wow, what the fuck is Cloud Strife? Is Cloud Strife literally Jesus Christ? Is he widowy Jesus Christ, dude? Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. This is horrible. This is terrible.
In individuals like Asmongold in these influencers. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know.
Let me know in the comment section. Remember, like, subscribe.
Especially to each other, and to always speak the truth.
Always speak the truth, baby. Edward Pfizer is coming for you, brother. That was a terrible fucking video, but hey, We'd love to see it.